Hello world, Twist here, and welcome back to Raw Recap and Review. We're going to be discussing Monday Night Raw from December 8th, 2025, from Kansas City, Missouri. If you love WWE and wrestling content, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more, man. So let's get into what happened on this Raw. Like most Raws, we start off with a promo, and we get a promo from Gunther, who last week on Friday Night SmackDown, which I saw in Austin, Texas. Sadly, John Cena wasn't there, even though he did a Joe Rogan podcast the same day. You could have lied and said and did one more appearance, but we're not going to talk about that. But Gunther pops out. You know, everyone's going, we want Cena, we want Cena. And, Gunther has to be the heel, says he ain't here, he ain't coming, as always. But he actually says a lot of good things about Cena in the beginning. He's like, he's realizing he beat LA Knight to be in the person to win the last time is now tournament. He's gonna be fighting John, and he calls him the greatest sports entertainer of all time. But then says he's gonna be competing against the greatest professional wrestler of all time. He's talking about Gunther. He's talking about himself. Gunther's main focus with this is not just winning the match against John at Saturday night's main event, which is going to be in Washington D.C. Should have been in Boston, but you know. And he wants to make John Cena give up. He says he's going to break his spirit. He's gonna destroy him. He's gonna make him do the one thing he says he'll never do, and that's give up. And we'll see. I do think Gunther is gonna beat John, but I don't think John's gonna tap out. I think John is probably gonna pass out before he ever gives up, but we'll see. Now we're into the first match of things. We get Io Sky against Kyrie. We get Kyrie Sane, and they're fighting because last week, it was Rhea Ripley, Io Sky versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, and Kyrie Sane, Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors interrupted the match and led to the whole fiasco with tag teams. Now we have the Judgment Day involved into it, so now they're doing a 1v1. So the match starts off with Io and Kyrie going back and forth. Kyrie hits a Hurricanrana on Io, but Io does her flip reversal into it, and they go back to doing multiple pin attempts. They go back to doing multiple pin attempts, and that leads to Kyrie saying, reversing it and then smacking her butt and then going as mocking Io Sky, but then to her reverse Hurricanrana move where she gets thrown into the Irish whip, but she lifts up, reverses over, and reverse flips over, and that leads to Asuka getting on top of the apron, which she did multiple times during the match, and Rhea don't play that. Rhea after that, Kyrie went to attacking Io Sky, but Io Sky does her little cartwheel backflip combo, and that led to Kyrie's manager, who's Asuka, to get on the apron. She was in her corner, and Rhea Ripley is also there. So Rhea Ripley is not letting her distract her like that. She's getting up there on the apron, but that leads to Kyrie saying hitting the elbow drop on the outside, and then we get to the commercial break. From the commercial break, we get Io Sky at the turnbuckle. She's on the bottom. Kyrie Sane's going for the elbow. Io reverses it, and that leads into the Io Sky comeback. And point of the comeback is her on the apron. She jumps up, does the missile drop kick. Gotta hit the emote. After the emote, she puts her down, and she's in the turnbuckle. She goes, bullet train. 1, 2, kick out. After the kick out, Io Sky, she says it's over. She tries to go to the turnbuckle. Kyrie stops the moonsault. But as she's stopping the moonsault, Io Sky is stuck on the turnbuckle. So Kyrie does a crazy double moon stump, but that only gets a 2 count. Then we have Kyrie and Io on the apron. Kyrie tries to do a back suplex on Io. Io reverses it, does the German on the apron. Boom. Hardest part of the ring. Nasty. That leads to Io doing to the outside moonsault. After the moonsault, Asuka proceeds to attack Io. Rhea Ripley interrupts that. She starts beating up Asuka. Io gets back in the ring. She does a Hurricanrana, lands the moonsault, and then Io gets the win. It was a pretty good match. I feel like you would think with them competing with each other a lot, they would have a little bit better chemistry, but it seems like a little slow throughout the match, But it was a pretty good match. I give it about a 3-star match. It served what it needed to serve, but I wonder how the tag team spectrum is gonna be now. I wonder if they're gonna do like a 4-way because you know they have the Judgment Day, Charlotte Flair, Io, Rhea, Kabuki Warriors. I wonder if they're gonna do that in a 4-way match, but I don't know. I wonder what they're gonna be doing on this storyline pretty soon. Next scene, we get the Vision in the locker room. You know, it's Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Logan Paul. And Logan, he walks up. He's like, "Y'all remember what happened last week? You know, Rey Mysterio slapped me." He said, "Man, we need to do something about that." And like, you know, Braun, he's like, "Okay, we can handle it." He's like, "Okay, y'all can handle it." Okay, but Logan then pulls aside Paul Heyman, and he's like, "Hey, I know y'all got my back, but I need to be able to prove to y'all that, hey, if y'all ever in a bind, I can help you." And Paul is like, "Oh my gosh, I love you." He said, "I can't believe you're so unselfish right now. You know, I can't believe it." And speaking of Rey, we get down to our next match. We get Rey Mysterio versus Finn Balor. That was announced last week, and now we're getting into the match. We got Rey Mysterio, and sadly, he does his entrance, but sadly, he does not bring back the baggy pants. He has the singlet attire. Rey, please stop. But as he's going down to the ring, Logan Paul attacks him, and he's doing exactly what he said he was gonna do. He said, "Hey, Rey, we need to stop Rey." He proceeds to whoop Rey. He gets into the ring. He's beating him up. But then Rey gets a comeback once Logan pulls out the brass knuckles. As soon as he's about to hit him with the brass knuckles, Rey kicks him away. Boom. Rey gets him to the 619 position. But then the masked man appears, super kicks Rey, and then hits him with a curb stomp. And as Rey's knocked out, Logan gets the brass knuckles again. He recovers. Bah! Knocks Rey out. As Rey's getting helped out the ring, here he hears L.A. Knight. L.A. Knight runs down to the ring. He talks to Logan about how, like, he said, "Nah, don't leave now, don't leave. He said, "I don't like how you disrespect the legend, man. It's gonna be me versus you. I want to fight you. I don't want to fight you on Saturday. I don't want to fight you on Friday. I want to fight you now." And then it gets revealed after that segment that L.A. Knight versus Logan Paul, and that ends up being the main event. Now we get into our actual second match of the night. We get the War Raiders versus AJ Lee. You know, that's AJ Styles, Dragon Lee, for the tag team titles. You know, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, they beat the New Day last week, and they want to keep being fighting champions. So now they're giving the War Raiders a shot at the belt. But before the match even starts, the New Day pops out, and that's it. They got commentary. They're not hooked up to the mics, but they're just sitting there watching. Match starts off fast and heavy with AJ Styles. He elbows Eric, and then he gets into the turnbuckle. He tags in Dragon Lee for a quick drop kick, and then that leads to the War Raiders getting a spot where Dragon Lee tries to do a suicide dive onto the War Raiders, but they catch him. And as they catch him, AJ Styles is on the outs, is an inside the ring. He tries to go for a suicide dive, but the War Raiders throw Dragon Lee into AJ Styles as a cool break-off point. Get back from the commercial break, War Raiders do a tag combo on AJ Styles, but they only get to 2 count, and then we get to a face-off, a standoff between Ivar and AJ Styles. They're going back and forth, and it leads to Ivar doing his big cartwheel. And this man is very big, so it's insane that he can even do that. But he does the cartwheel, goes for the spinning kick, but AJ reverses and hits with a Pele kick, which is always flawless. Then we get the high tag with Dragon Lee. He's on a big flurry. He knocks Eric out the ring. He's going insane. We even get a Dragon Lee turnbuckle stump on Eric. But then he's fighting Ivar, and he actually tries to lift up Ivar, and he botches it in the beginning. He picks him up. He gets him up, right, but then he falls, and then he picks him up again, and then he falls again. And then he picks him up, and he does a little weak move. I ain't gonna. It's impressive, regardless, that he even picks him up in the first place. It was just like, it just sucks that he couldn't like get it done, like in like a super impressive way. But I mean, it's still impressive, but it's insane that he couldn't like actually get the slam in. After the slam, he gets the Dragon Lee elbow. He pulls the elbow pad off, elbow, but only gets a 2 count. After the 2 count, Dragon Lee tries to get Ivar on the top on a turnbuckle, but Ivar does that big sit down move on him, slam, tags into Eric, and that leads to Eric and Dragon Lee fighting on the apron. Dragon Lee tries to do his flip, tries to do a hurricanrana. Eric catches him, but he throws him into Ivar. Big ass slam on the outside. That's why we get to a commercial break. Put him back in the ring. Ivar goes for a moonsault. Also insane that he can even do this moonsault. 1, 2. AJ Styles with the big save. After the big save, both AJ and Eric drag their partners to the side so they can get the hot tag. Boom. Big stand down, big face off between Eric and AJ. They're going back and forth doing combos. AJ Styles starts to go for the Pele kick again. He gets reversed. Boom. Big knee by Eric. 1, 2. Kick out. After that, at least the AJ hurricanranaing Eric into Ivar. Dragon Lee gets back into the mix. He pulls Eric out, throws him in the outside, does a big front flip into the ground. And then at least my boy AJ get on that apron. Pull the elbow back down. Phenomenal forearm. 1, 2, 3. AJ Lee. AJ Styles, Dragon Lee win. They retain the tag team titles. And then New Day proceed to walk into the ring. They have a little face-off in here. Uso! The Usos pop out. Jay, Jimmy, and they said a very impactful promo. You know, Jimmy was like, man, he saw his brother lose, crash out. He called him up. He said, hey, man, what we going to do about this? What we going to do about this? And Jay's like, you know what? I'm finna do what we finna come back. We finna win these tag team titles. He said he shows respect to Dragon and AJ. He said, y'all don't know us yet. Y'all don't know what we do. But then he points to he said, they do. Y'all know how we operate. And then they turn back around and said, but now we back to y'all. And as they do that, they try to attack them, but they reverse it. Boom, boom, punch. Hit him at the ring, and then they have another face-off. So it looks like the Usos will be the next competitor for Dragon Lee and AJ Styles. I think that'll be a banger match, you know. I guess they finally realized that Jay I guess his time at being the main guy is over, you know. But I'm gonna be looking really forward into these tag team matches. I bet you they can put on some bangers for real. Now that's going to be the end of part 1 of this Raw recap and review. Like always, if you enjoyed the video, please comment what you think about what's going on so far in the episode, and subscribe to the channel so you can be able to see part 2 of this, where you can continue on what happened to the rest of the show. I'm Twist, and go watch the part 2.